Hey, everybody. Welcome to Meddkit's Provider Spotlight, where we interview private practices from all over the United States. So we are interviewing really amazing, fascinating people that we seek out personally that have great stories, that are helping their community, they're helping people, they're helping their patients, their clients. And today we have a really awesome special guest for you, Dr. Louis Ziegler of Advanced Health Center, as our guest speaker. So welcome, Dr. Lou.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. It's such a pleasure. Again, it's so nice that you're doing this. We really want to make sure we get good healthcare information out, help people. You know, I've told you before, we want to be human. We want it to be approachable, give people really good healthcare information, compassionate, kind. And again, thank you. The opportunity to share and
Yeah.
to speak with you. We appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, this is great. I'm also so excited to get all the learning tidbits from you today. But I think first, I think it's always awesome to hear people's origin story. Like, what got you into this? Like, what propelled you to start your own practice and all that kind of good stuff?
I think that's a great question. It's very simplistic for me at some level. It's my mother. It's all, yeah. It starts with my mom. My mom really wanted her kids to be really strong and healthy. And I think for most mothers, that ultimate sacrifice to be good to your children, to make your kids strong and healthy. My mom really was this. She followed this woman, this Adele Davis, who was this nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
And Adele Davis back in the day with Linus Paul, all these other people who were really into like building a better world. These hippies at this time. This is my mom, right? Wheat germ, all these things in our kitchen, literally the things that all kids just like don't want to eat would
Yeah.
make us eat it all. And it wasn't because we were sick. My mother really, again, wanted us to be really smart and do this, you know, and my dad wanted us to be strong. And my mom, it all comes from these books of Adele Davis, these other pioneers. My parents, I can't thank them enough.
I love that. Something that I had in a previous podcaster, he also told me the importance of mentorship and people that you look up to.
Yeah.
I love that your origin story came from really amazing parenting. So kudos to mom for, keeping her eye out on
Oh,
those kids. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it
It's
really is. But, you know, it's all that. I mean, and I think as you go into healthcare and you understand more, it comes from families. It comes from, you know, people who really, you know, wanted to build a better, healthy community. And parenting is always about that for the next generation to build a stronger kind of bond in your family and your friends and making them live longer and healthier,
yeah.
right? Healthier.
Basic, and I love it. I think I love that story. I love how you got into this. For your practice in particular, what do you think are like the most common areas that people are struggling with? Like, what do you most often do you feel like are you treating?
Pain, probably. I think pain is really high. People from suffering, anxiety, joint pain, back pain, stomach problems. You know, there's a philosophy I have, and I've shared with you before, that there's not just one pill for every problem. And when you finally break away from that healthcare model, that there's just not one pill for something, and not meaning that you be on multiple pills for multiple conditions, you have to look at things much more deeper. You have to go to more of a root problem. So
Yeah.
that's how I look at it.
I love that. I love that approach and kind of like diving more into that, your approach is very different. I can see that you're very involved with your patients. What do you think, why is your approach different? And what do you think is like the key to success or prevention?
So our approach is integrative and functional medicine, which is basically my belief. We should remove the word integrative and functional and just make it good medicine. It's literally should be just good, great medicine. That simple, that good, taking into account for what people, how they sleep, how they eat, really lifestyle changes, really much more than just a blood pressure, a simple blood test. I mean, really taking into account of everything.
Yep, 100%. I think the holistic approach that you have, and because it's not just one thing, and so I think it's so great that you're really taking a look at everything that everyone has going on and saying, hey, this is the key.
Yeah. It is, and as my personal journey, I went to Asia. I studied traditional Chinese medicine.
Oh, that's
I'm an
good.
acupuncturist. So I will echo, yeah. So what's happened is I will kind of evolve about seasonal food, about things have been passed down for generations in healthcare. Most people don't understand. In traditional Chinese medicine, they look at organ systems about being healthy. They really understand that a healthy organ affects other mechanisms. Mm-hmm. People in the West don't really think about it until there's a pathology in an organ system. Right? Oh, we have a liver problem. People, now we got to treat it. In traditional Chinese medicine, they want to make sure you have a healthy liver because it's going to affect your brain. It's going to affect your kidneys. It's going to affect your heart. It's going to affect your pain levels. Keeping it clean and healthy is the foundation of traditional Chinese medicine.
That's awesome. And, would you say there are some really common or maybe not so common symptoms that prompt people to reach out to you? Maybe they're dealing with something and you're like, yeah, that's what I do. That's what I can help with. But maybe people don't think about that right away. Maybe they don't know you can help with that.
Yeah, I think probably for different classes, for fertility, a lot of people don't even think. I mean, we have a lot of women who have fertility issues. Sure. We do, right? So they never think about maybe their hormonal balances are off. They're having thyroid issues. I mean, we do a lot to try to get women's bodies ready for pregnancy so they can get pregnant. We see a amount of things like that. Again, we see people with pain who might not understand that their liver is becoming also extremely toxic, which is amplifying their pain levels, or their iron deficiencies are low, which is also causing anxiety. Some basic blood tests really can give us some good information, and then also what we find in the practice here to help manage their conditions.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, I'm always interested in that question because a lot of people believe, they stick in their box of what they think they know, right? And say, oh, if I'm having this issue, I'm going to that doctor, right?
Correct.
And they don't think about all the different ways that someone like yourself can help. And so I love asking that question. As in my next question, I also really love to ask is, there's, with the day and age of all of us getting on Google and typing in our symptoms and telling us that we have cancer right away, of course, always. What do you say to that? Is there anything that you can debunk? Do people come in a lot and are like,
yeah, and I kind of say the same thing. These are helpful tools, but I always try to tell people, please, these things are step processes. You just can't take a word, Google it, and you go down a rabbit hole, literally a rabbit hole. There's steps in healthcare. You try to have a better understanding of their conditions and that's affecting other things. So just one word, they come in, and people do this all the time. They come in with what they've Googled, right? This is what I have, with not understanding. It takes a lot of information to get to certain points. Yeah. And we try to from basic testing, from blood or radiology, and then we can start to put together more of a piece of a puzzle.
Right. No, that makes a ton of sense. I mean, I think we've all been guilty of it. One person says one thing and we're up on our phones and we're Googling
in the middle of the night.
And then having some cold sweats, thinking that we have X, and then we go to the doctor and we're all fine. It's not as bad as we thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always say the same thing. And for us, we never wanted, when somebody says they're not feeling well, we never want to dismiss that or tell them, it's really crucial to listen to people, to hear what they have to say. Listening is a big part. Understanding histories are really crucial. So that I always say the same thing. Google doesn't have all that information, right?
Yeah.
Unless they're really spying on us a ton, they probably might, but that's another conversation.
Yeah,
But
for sure. No, I love that. And, is there, kind of rounding out, this interview on really amazing key pieces that you gave us, but, are there a few tips or homework that you might give a client? Is there things that we can do today that can put us in the right direction, that can help us prevent certain diseases or other, ailments that you see people coming, to you and you're like, man, if you did this 10 years ago, like,
yeah, and I know this is one probably the most basic thing I could probably to help people start to live healthier. You hear about keto diets or plant-based diets, and those are not the problem. What the biggest problem I do find today in causing people health problems is the processed food world. The processed food,
it's sneaky.
Mislabeling, it's beyond sneaky. There's probably a lot of other adjective words I will use, but this processed food of trying to get things that are cheap out to people with a ton of ingredients that I cannot even pronounce properly. The processed food, key nutrients, key foods, kind of going back to my mom, home cooked meals, doing these things. It's really critical to help you live healthier, longer, vitality, strength. The food we put in our body, and I do echo from farmers market, they get it. They understand the value of it. I have to try to get that message out to other people. It really affects your metabolism, your health condition. These small farmers who do this type of work understand about the soil, about what it's doing, the chemicals on the food, the GMO processing. A lot of these guys and gals really understand that, but food is crucial to feeding the body, right?
Yeah.
You have to feed it.
And you're putting it into your body every single day, and you might as well have it be really, really great for you.
Yes, I know. And don't devalue good food. I mean, really, it's so important that that philosophy of food is medicine is really crucial. And just to think, oh well, it's just a snack, but this is more than what's happening. This kind of ultra processed food is most of people's diets. So it's some of the first things I do is I really tell people you have to start getting out this processed food out of your diet. You have to look at these ingredients in these food labels, the GMOs. I mean, you have to really start to dive in if you want to be healthier.
Yeah, and just kind of like diving into that one step further, what do you think these processed foods are causing people?
Oh,
Yeah, I'd love to know what you
yeah, so I believe it really messes with our metabolic codes, our insulin levels. Our bodies have a hard time processing things it doesn't understand, and a lot of times it can store it. And when things get stored and something cannot break down or cells, I do think it can cause other types of problems. Medical, we call those world apoptosis, where a cell's not breaking down properly. And those things can grow from tumors or masses. And, if your body can't recognize it and discrete it, we can run into some real problems.
interesting. Now, I wanted to ask that so bad. I'm like, what do you think? Because people might hear that, oh, processed foods aren't good for you, but they maybe don't even really listen to the why.
Yeah.
Why and what will happen to my body? What will this cause in the future? And that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, if a cell isn't breaking down properly, it's there.
Yeah. And when we look at this, I always tell people, we get one body. One. Be nice to it. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. it, right? So you want to feed it really good and be conscious about what you're eating. I I mean, it's so important. And I think most mothers who believe in taking care of their children and getting them stronger understand that message really well. And that's why I thank my mom and my parents.
I think that's the best. I think you learned from some great people, and I hope that people today can take the same advice and heed the warning that you have given us all. And we really appreciate this. And before, the last thing before we leave off today, I would love if you could tell everyone where they could find you, where they could find great resources for you, and can get in touch.
Yeah, so if they like to visit our office, we're outside of Washington, D.C., we're in Arlington, Virginia. The name of our practice is Advanced Health Center, Integrative and Functional Medicine. Again, we're really close to Washington, D.C., help them turn them on to really kind of good farmers markets, other places they get by good food. It's a great place to live. It's a great community. There's some very smart people. We're really all happy to be here, and it's a great time to spend with you. And thank you for letting us get our message out.
Of course, this is amazing. Everyone, you know how to do it. You know how to contact Dr. Lou. Come see him.
Can I give our phone number?
Yes. Hey, yeah, give the phone number.
Sure. We're at 703-521-0644. If you'd like to schedule with one of our practitioners or myself, we'd love to see you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Dr. Lou. This is fantastic.
It's a pleasure. Thank you again.
Thank you.